Hello, and welcome to the Juneteenth 196 2020 Special Edition. B-HBrilliantMinds Project, Inc. is honored to bring to you invited guests who will share their personal life stories from past to present. B-HBrilliantMinds Project, Inc. understands the importance of leaving a legacy that will carry on after we're gone. We know that it is our responsibility to keep the stories alive, creating opportunities for the voices of our communities to be heard and seen. The Juneteenth 196 2020 Special Edition will capture the essence of why we are celebrating and honoring Juneteenth. The backs of our shoulders of our ancestors is why we're honoring Juneteenth. Their faith, their resilience, their blood, sweat, and tears are the building blocks for the next generation to come. We are blowing into the winds, creating and preparing the brilliant minds of the future towards excellence. This afternoon, this evening, we have Miss Brije Gammage that I bring to you. And thank you, Miss Brije, for being a part of Juneteenth 196. First of all, I would like to say, how was your day?
It was good. It was great.
Okay.
How about you?
It was wonderful. A little hiccups now and there, but you know, that's what life is all about. We're just here to push through. Yeah. So my first question for you is to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your upbringing, your family, and your passion. I know that's three things all in one. However, you can you can start with a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll move on to your upbringing, then your family, and your passion.
Okay. Like I said, my name is Brije Gammage, and I am an Oakland native, born and raised here in Oakland, California. I'm executive director at Fam First Family Foundation, located in Oakland, out of the West Oakland Youth Center. And a little bit about me. Like I said, I was born and raised here in Oakland. My parents, native Oakland. My grandparents are born and raised in the South, on both sides of my family. One side is Louisiana, one side is Texas. My grandfather on my mother's side, my maternal grandfather, came here and started his own construction company. He's one of the first Black construction owners in Oakland. I'm a product of a family of 16 aunts and uncles on my mother's side. So I come from a big, big family, which I love dearly, which gave me a sense of what community is like growing up in Oakland. And said family, where I'm from, was the last part.
The last part was your passion.
Passion. And my biggest passion, I guess, is working with kids, working with the community. Like I said, being raised in a big family over the years, my mom and my father's work has been working in the community, Oakland Parks and Rec. My mom works for the Oakland Unified School District. And so growing up in that setting has always built a sense of community for me. And my siblings growing up, that was like our extended family. We have a lot of family and friends that we've known for years just from growing up in the parks of Oakland. And which kind of, I believe, led me to my purpose in life is to working with kids and working with the foundation that I'm with now. It wasn't a straight and narrow road, but it's ultimately where I ended up. And yeah, I think that's my biggest thing is working with the community and making that impact in whichever way I can.
So along with your programming that you all have for the youth, what would you say to an organization that is maybe starting off to do something in the community? What would be one of the most important things that they should give back to the community?
I think the first thing is to really understand the needs of the community. I think that's the biggest part. A lot of us began starting organizations based off of a personal need or a personal thing we want to fulfill, but really understanding what the community is needing at that time, or understanding if there's other people out there doing similar work, and partnering. I think we're greater in numbers versus us doing something individually. And I think that will be my biggest thing, is understanding what community you're working with and what their needs are in that area or that region, and finding other organizations to partner and work with to make a greater impact on your work.
That's awesome. And you know, as you were stating earlier, that your family is like a 16 family member. That's huge. So how is it that coming from a big family like that, I know the gatherings. Tell me a little bit about you guys' social gatherings and the things that you guys done as you were growing up. Because a lot of our youth today is missing that piece. You know, the family engagements, the family reunion, the fish fries, and all of those things, just sitting around as a family, talking and learning about each other.
Yeah, I think growing up, it was like my cousins were like my brothers and sisters. Like our gatherings were like they were so big. Like it's a situation of you only had to call one person and everybody's coming. Like everybody knows something's going on. You make one phone call, it spread like wildfire. And you know, we did the typical talent shows. All the kids got together, put on a show for the whole family. You know, make up our little dances.
That's right.
Karaoke. It was just, you know, at all levels of fun. Of course, food was definitely involved with my grandparents being from the South. So my mom and them, you know, her sisters would cook, and it'd just be an all-out party. You know, we didn't need to invite anybody else. It was enough of us to have a get down.
Right.
Yeah, and even as I grew up, we still did it. You know, it would be to the point we're hanging out 6 a.m, the sun is coming up. It's like, I think it's time to go home now. But yeah, it was definitely good times, you know, holidays, getting together. And we still do, but everybody's family is growing, you know. Each sibling has grandkids and great grandkids. And so, you know, sections of us get together still. And it's still a good time, but it's like people, you know, move out of the area and, you know, get more close knit with their family that they're growing as well.
Right. And, you know, because I'm a big fan, I am a huge fan of, and my dad, I got that from my parents, the family reunions, you know, getting together. And like I said earlier, the kids now they're missing that. They're on the computers, you know, they're not able to socialize with each other because of the phones. And when you were saying the talent shows and that, all of those things helped us with public speaking. It helped us collectively work together as a team. Our youth these days and our little kids, it's so hard for them to work together as a team because society has pictured and pecked them to not work together, but work separate, you know, and it's my, it's me, versus collective us working together as a team. And all of what you were saying about the family, those structures were in place to help us recognize who we were, recognize the importance of us together as a family, and your community was your family too. You know, like I said, your outside people was your brothers, your sisters, and your cousins. And if you go down the street and you did something you had no business doing, the other mama, the auntie, the grandpa, everybody was able to get in you, you know, and it kept us in line. And not only that, is our community, the village was looking out for us. And that's what I'm so saddened that our kids these days don't have, you know, they don't have that. They really don't get to me, that's the soul food. That's the really growing up together and being able to nourish your spirit too, because that's what it was about, you know. So I commend your grandma and grandpa, you know, coming from Texas, as you saying. This is where Juneteenth started back then, you know. So to be able to look back at our lineage and look back at our families is so important. Our kids these days, they only know about maybe the first generation. They don't even know about the other auntie, grandma, go back.
Right,
you know,
right.
And go ahead.
That's something that we really, like, we take the family values that we grew up with and instill them within the foundation that we're doing, because it's about family. So the name of Fam First Family Foundation rings true to who we really are as family. And the organization is built on family. Most of the members, the founding members, are family members, my brothers, my cousins. And so me personally, my thing is we learn community first in our family. We learn how to build relationships first in our family. Like you said, everything that we learn how to communicate and how to socialize and how to connect with people, we learn within our families. And so even just like the history part, this past summer, the kids did a family history, you know.
Oh, wow.
Do a project of going back and try to, you know, ask your parents, what is your history? Who are your grandparents, your great grandparents, and however far you can go back. So we can understand that lineage and where we come from and, you know, what they did. I know for myself, on my father's side of the family, learning that a lot of my family was in education. When I look back, there's even a college, ASU Gammage, in, I believe it's Arizona. So there's a college with somebody somewhere in my lineage with a building named after them. And my mom's side too, they were educators and principals and things of that nature. So kind of looking back at that and realizing, like, oh, it is preordained. Like, that's just who we are. We're teachers, we're, you know, community people. And so, growing up and figuring that out is kind of like, okay, this was where I was supposed to be.
That's right. And, you know, that just carried right over into the next question was, why did the profession that you in, did you choose it or it chose you? But like you said, because of your family, this seems to me that it chose you. It was a part of you guys' destiny to continue this, the legacy of your family and what they installed in you guys, to continue to give it to our community, to give it over to this next generation and the families. So a question as a mother with a 13-year-old daughter is what you have. What would you say again to young women or family members that's raising a young girl in this time? What are some of the important things that they should know?
The biggest thing is time. I think time is very important. Spending time with your kids. I think during this time of things being shut down and slowed down has really shown a lot of people that time is very important. I know for me, I work, but a conversation and communication as well, because I had to have a conversation with my daughter about just our relationship. And that's what she said, you know, spending time with her. It doesn't have to be anything big, but just, we can go walk the park. She want to walk around the block. She want to go for ice cream. Very simple things. And I think we think because we can buy our kids things that makes it appear as we love them. But for them, most of the time, it's just spending quality time and communicating with them and understanding what they're going through. I think a lot of kids, there's so much going on in the world. And we don't think that they go through anything as kids, but there's a lot. There's peer pressure. There's their own personal beliefs of who they are, especially if you don't instill in them that they're beautiful or that they're smart or who they are and who they can be. If you don't do that consistently, then the world tells them who they are.
That's right.
Their friends tell them who they are. And I think the biggest thing, like I said, is communication and spending that time, because you are your child's biggest role model. Yeah. You're their biggest cheerleader.
That's right.
You know, you are that. Then nobody else can really, of course, they'll have some influence from the outside, but in the back of their mind, they'll know, my mom wouldn't approve of this. My dad wouldn't approve of this. My grandma wouldn't approve of this. That's not who I am. That's not what I come from. And like I tell my daughter, she's going to make choices that I may not always agree with. It may make me mad, but at the end of the day, I still love you. We can talk through it. We can work through it, because we've all made mistakes, and somebody has forgiven us for the things that we've done and so forth. And so that's my biggest thing, is instilling in her that I'm here for her. And I try to keep that line of communication open no matter what it is. But, you know, not your friend, but we can have conversations like friends. We can have conversations like friends.
Ditto.
Yes.
Ditto. Absolutely. Yes. Because then, even though she understands that I still have to respect mom, you know, there's, like you said, there's something in the back of her head. If we're letting our kids know that, first, I'm your parent first, and then I'm your friend, you know, and that's, to me, is what you installed in her, is keeping that authority, not say authority, but you have to have that, because somebody has to know, you know, that you do have a higher power, or you have a higher something that you have to adhere to. And that's not only with just living, that's even on a job. See, if we don't install those kind of things in our kids now, then when they come in contact with authority, it's going to be like, oh, you can't. No, it may not be your parent, but there's a line of authority that you do have to abide in. And on your job, you have a supervisor, you have the boss's boss. So there's somebody always looking up to somebody else. Right. And we do our kids and our young adults a disservice when we're not teaching them the basics of that way. You know, I know there's a lot of organizations and a lot of people want to befriend African American and children of color, but to me, sometimes I see a lot of them wanting to be their friend. It's like, okay, hold it. I get that, but you're doing them a disservice, because you already know that they can't go into the work with all that. So how are you going to make sure that you're teaching them the skills, the social skills, the development, life skills that they need in order for them to survive? You know, a lot of these places and people, they set our kids up for failure. You know, wanting to be just their friend. Yeah. So dealing with our young men, what would you say to a parent that's dealing with the young boys? And like you said, our kids have dealt with trauma and is dealing with trauma, even in COVID-19, you know, all of these layers that they have to deal with. And not understanding, some of the parents are not understanding sometimes when you put them with the phone and you have a lot of the gun violence and all that, you are layering things on them versus taking layers off. So we have to be careful. Go ahead.
Yeah. The same thing for young boys. They need the same communication. They need that love as well. They need to be recognized, and same thing poured into them, the same type of love you would do a young lady. Men, you know, they need to be there to support young men so they can raise them up, I think. And mothers, stop coddling your babies, please. We got enough mama boys. I know that's your baby, but yeah, it becomes, when he gets older, like the responsibility piece is critical in life. Like, and I think with my mom, we're so independent, you know, like, because she worked a lot or whatever, but even still with her working, she still instilled in us a work ethic, you know, like, okay, I love y'all, but get out there and do what you got to do. Like, I worked hard enough so you guys didn't have to struggle, you know, even as a single mother. She worked 3 jobs at times, you know, but my brothers know they can go to her, but they also know they got to get out there and work. The Bible says a man that don't work, don't eat. But yeah, I think there's a balance of love and discipline that needs to happen in any relationship, whether it's male or female. And I think the biggest thing is adaptability, teaching our kids adaptability to be able to go into any situation and own it, you know, giving them that confidence. I think even more so now, young men need to know that they're special, that they are somebody, you know, regardless of people trying to take them out, and they, you know, see us as a threat.
Right. And you know, what I can say, what I do love about your organization is that the classes that you guys have for the students is just not regular classes. You know, you have your educational piece, and then you have the coding, you have the business, and you have architect, and what's the other one? Graphic designs. So you're teaching them a skill that they can have that's going to be with them for the rest of their lives, that they can either move into that career, start a business with it, or hopefully collaborate with someone and start their own actual business. Because I see that what they're learning is not just, you know, like a mediocre information that they're getting. This a life skill. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's important that we teach our kids something other than what they know.
Yes.
And exposing them to the things that they would never be exposed to, or never have an idea that it was available to them. I think more so now people are coming out with more and more classes like that, but we've been doing this for years.
Right.
We've been teaching business, and we've been teaching just the creative side, how to make a beat, how to make your own music, how to make your own song.
Oh yeah, I forgot music.
Yeah, because, you know, naturally as a people, we are into music. That's our thing. That's where our soul lives. That's what we're creative. That's what connects us, music. And just like you said, the business programs, teaching kids how to create a business plan. Even if you don't open this business, at least you have an idea of, when somebody says a business plan, you know what's in that business plan. Even within that class, teaching them just a glimpse of how to read the stock market, you know, what a checkbook looks like, you know, all the things that they should teach us in junior high school, or in school period that we don't learn, and all the things that they would never teach us in school.
Right. And, you know, I think it's so important for families to, like you said, sit down with the kid and tell them, look, let me show you this bill here. Let me show you how much it costs. And let me show you why I got to go to work. You know, then that gives, when you keep things back from them, you do them a disservice, even though you're like, okay, I don't want my kid to have to go through blah, blah, blah. But if you show them what you really got to, they'll give you, that's a whole different level of respect. Yes. Because it's like, oh my God, you got a what? What? And then you're going to be more conscious about how you move in the house, leaving the lights on and water and all that kind of good stuff. And then appreciate that food that's coming in their refrigerator. It's just not, I didn't get that food and just jump over in there. I have to go And whether it's from food stamps, whether it's from the shelter, whether it's from wherever, that food still got in that refrigerator, and we have to manage it.
Yep. Yeah, I think it first hit home for me when my daughter, we went to the grocery store and she's like, "Oh, I wanna swipe and put your pin in." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's time for you to learn that money just not come off this plastic card." Like there's a process to this. So yeah, she started learning about money early on as well. Even in my previous job as a store manager, I would have her work the register. Like you need that experience to help you count money, help you know, like just understanding business as well. So, but yeah, I started talking to her, and you don't necessarily have to sit down and give your kids every single bill or show them where you may be short or where you over or whatever. It's just the basics of saying, this is how much bills cost. You know, it's not their responsibility, but understand that I go to work in order to provide, and these are the things that we need in order to, you know, to live the way we live. And my daughter is very conscious of that now. She'll go in the store and I tell her, always round up. It's never exactly what it is on the tag. It's always some more money on there, some taxes added to that. And so she's good now at going, oh yeah, that's too much. Can we get this one? So she bargain shops now at 13.
That's right.
I'm like, yeah, let's work it out. Like we got this much to spend, and now you do the rest. Like that's that you figure it out. This is how much I'm giving you, and you figure out. I have her go grocery shop for her own lunch food. Like this is how much you're spending. Go get what you like or need, but you got to spend this much. So, you know, she's getting used to that going into the store. And she's like, Mom, no, it's time. Now you got to start learning you got to learn how to
budgeting.
Survive.
That's right. Budget your money.
Exactly.
That is so true. So all of the work that we do and that you do, what do you do for self-care? You know, what is it that you do for yourself for self-care?
Well, self-care is something that I'm just now getting the hang of because I mean, in the past, I would go on vacation here or there, but that's a week here, a week there. But ultimately, on a regular basis now, I think what I've started instilling is Sundays is my time.
That's right.
I'm a chill out. I'm not going to do anything. If I don't want to go anywhere, I'm not going anywhere. It's just my time to kind of just really relax, meditate, and do nothing.
And it's okay.
Yes. And I had to be okay with not doing anything, not trying to make a goal for something or saying, okay, I got this time to fulfill it. I've really come to the part where it's like, no, it's okay not to do anything. And of course, as well, I'm starting to get massages on a monthly basis. Just if I'm not able to get out and exercise and do all that kind of stuff that I need to do, that's one thing that I know is I'm going to make reoccurring. Like I'm going to force myself to make that time. Getting to the point where everything is being put on the calendar, blocking out time, even just a lunch break.
Right.
So, okay, even if I just sit at my desk, but no work for this hour, you know, I have my calendar go off and it's like, this is your time just to debrief, breathe.
Right.
Go jump around the building if necessary. Just whatever, you know. It's just starting off small and really understanding what I feel I need and, you know, besides taking a good vacation. But yeah.
Woo! Can't wait for one of them. Boy,
exactly.
Woo! My goodness. So as we're winding down, but my last question for you would be, what kind of legacy would you like to create, leave, or share with this world that so desperately need our a part of us to be here, like our ancestors did? They left things for us.
I haven't really thought about an exact legacy. I think that what I'm doing now is all a part of that naturally. Being a part of young kids' lives and watching them grow. We take in kids as young as 5 years old. So knowing kids 4 or 5 years already, I think is me leaving a piece of me with somebody else's child, not, as well as my own. I just know that as I watch my mom work throughout the Oakland Unified School District and her being who she is in that community, a lot of people coming back years later saying, man, if it wasn't for your mom, I wouldn't have graduated. If it wasn't for your mom, I wouldn't have got through school with my baby. And then their kids and their grandkids are now there and they go, oh, I've heard about you, Rosemary. And, so I think
that's
naturally,
right.
I think naturally it's happening just through the work that I'm doing. And really being a part of these families' lives, and because it's genuine love and care. It's not for a check, as you know, nonprofits are not the big cha-ching.
Uh-oh. Oh dear.
And it's really. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It ended up freezing on us, but go ahead.
Yeah, like I was saying, for me, nonprofit is not cha-ching, but it's hard work. And so I think the biggest thing you can do is just leave your heart, little pieces of your heart invested in people. That's the biggest legacy you can leave. I mean, I can put my name on a building, get my name on a building, get an award, but really other people remembering your work and what you stood for, I think is the best legacy you can have.
Wow. Well, with that, I just want to say B.H. Brilliant Minds Project, Inc., of course, continues to invite us to celebrate Juneteenth 196, our special 2020 edition. This is what we're standing on. We are the breath of our ancestors. We will never, never break. We are the history shakers and makers, and we are acknowledging and honoring that Black culture, Black minds, Black breath, and Black lives matter. And we are saying it loud, and we are Black and proud. To end up seeing this astral segment, we would like for you to go to www.B-HBrilliantMinds.org, and we definitely can't leave this session without thanking our sponsor, Winrose Fund of the Common Council Foundation. We want to thank them for this opportunity to be able to have Juneteenth 196. And Brije, we will let you say parting words. If there's anybody on the Zoom would like to ask or say anything to Ms. Brije, we will ask you to do it now.
I just want to say thank you for having me, for sharing my story. This is my first time. I was a little nervous, but I appreciate it.
That's okay.
I had fun.
You did an awesome job.
Thanks.